Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Minutes to Fit. It's your girl Imani, and I want to thank my subscribers for the continued support. Even though I have not been doing videos, I have still been getting 10 to 12 followers each month, and I really appreciate that. I really, really do. So, I wanted to be transparent with you guys. So, I want to talk about where I've been. Um, I've always been transparent with you. I tell you a lot of things that happened to me in my life and what goes on in my life. And so I don't want to make this any different. So, where I've been, my mom passed in August of 2020. It was all of a sudden. My mom wasn't like definitely ill or anything like that. She was a little overweight and she did have diabetes, but diabetes was controlled. So the only problem she was really fighting with was the obesity. So one day on Saturday, the 29th of August, she was sitting out front of her apartment with her friends. And they said about 6 p.m. that she went upstairs, told them, I'll be back. I'm going to go take a nap. She went upstairs, but she never came back. And they said they were banging on her door, ringing her phone, um, just trying to contact her. They thought she was just like in a deep sleep. So they did not press the issue. But then Sunday, somebody called me and told me, that's not like her. And I was like, no, that's not like her. She'll usually answer the door and this and the other. So I called and called and called, and it just kept going straight to voicemail. So then I began to worry. But my mom does stuff like this, so she'll be gone, and I don't hear from her for a few days or whatever. So Monday comes, and I keep getting this phone call from this number. And I was still in bed at the time, and I'm like, what does this number keep calling me for? What is the urgency? I mean, they were blowing my phone up. So I finally got out the bed, and then my aunt called and told me that my other aunt said that a gentleman from the building called her and told her that my mom had passed. And I said, I don't know. I said, because I haven't talked to anybody. And as I was saying that, the phone rang. And it was the Detroit Police Department. Detroit Police Department. And they told me that my mom had passed and that they found her in her apartment in her bed, sleeping, deceased. So that really threw me for a loop. I don't deal with death well already. And then for it to be sudden like that, like to get no warning, and just she's not really sick. And so to me, it threw me into a midlife crisis. The midlife crisis I was dealing with was because I was really settled. I was just at home making videos for you guys, going to school to finish my degree, and pretty much just staying in the house trying to get my health together. I felt as if I was letting life pass me by. I felt like I need to start living, because what if I'm next? What if I die suddenly? What if I go to sleep and don't wake up? So they left me a funeral to plan. Now, it wasn't my first time planning one, because I did have to plan one for my grandmother, but it was just different for my mom. It hit harder. It hit different. And I'll tell you why. It hit different because of the things that did not happen in my life before she left. It hit different because I wanted a mother-daughter relationship with her, and I never had that. We were close as I got older because I learned how to accept people for who they are and not be judgmental. My mom was always a free spirit. She always would leave for weeks at a time and go partying and having fun, and did a lot of fighting. But my grandmother and my grandfather raised me, which is her parents, my mom's parents. They raised me. But my grandmother was older, so she could only tell me so much. And we would only do things that older people do, like go to bingo and stuff like that. And so I didn't have that person that I wanted to go get my nails done with, my hair done with. I want to go out to dinner and to the movies and stuff like that, and just have a bonding time with mother and daughter. I never received that. My mom was a lesbian, and I found out when I was about 12 years old. I overheard a conversation between her and my aunts, and I found out, well, actually, she was bisexual because she did have boyfriends too. So I guess she would be classified as bisexual. But for the most part, after I turned about 14, she only dealt with women. So at first, I'm going to be honest, at first I hated it. I hated it so much. And I'll tell you why. Because back then, this was in the 80s. Back then, lesbian and gay was frowned upon. People were not able to be free and be who they are because people were so judgmental at that time that most people who were gay or bisexual, they hid it. They didn't let the public see. You would just see them like thinking they're good friends and that they hang out together all the time, because there was never any public affection. As I was younger, when I found out, like I said, at 12 years old, I thought that being a lesbian was hereditary, which I have heard that there are some traits that supposedly make you that way. And I was afraid that I was going to be that way. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to be that. I said, the hell if I am. And I said, well, I'll put a stop to this and that thought. And so I became promiscuous. And I told them, my family, like, I'm just making sure I don't be gay. But I learned later in life that it is a choice. And that was a choice that I didn't want to make. So I'm heterosexual. But I did frown upon my mom earlier in my earlier years, but I was a teenager. I didn't know any better. But as I got grown, I was able to accept it more. And then I had a conversation with my mom, asking her what turned her that way. How did she get to that point? And she told me that my dad cheated on her with her best friend. Now, that is a hard blow to the face. But from my understanding, my aunts told me that my mom always used to follow girls around and stare at them and gaze at them and just be up in their faces and not want to go home. And so I'm wondering if there is some truth to it being hereditary. Because where would a young girl, 10 years old, that hasn't been molested, hasn't been any foul play, get these thoughts from, get these desires from, for another woman, not a man? So I do think sometimes that it could be a little hereditary. Because otherwise, explain it to me. Why did she feel that way at 10 years old? My mom, she was a real jokester. She was really funny. She would get all kind of names for everybody. She always talking about how we didn't wash up, and but it was a joke though. But we was always dirty neck this, or creamy pie this, or mayonnaise pie, or something. Something. She was always calling us all these different names. So when I when I got older, I began to understand more, and as it became I guess more normalized, that people didn't have to hide who they were anymore, I began to have a different perspective. And I was able to accept my mom for who she was. Even though I did not like before this happened, I did not like how she wore her hair. I did not like how she dressed, because she dressed as a man would dress. And like, I would try to buy her like clothes that, that's not manly, like for events we go to, or for holidays and stuff like that. And she would wear it after a big fuss though. And I realized later that it wasn't right for me to push my agenda on her, because I wanted her to look like a woman, or I didn't want to hear the backlash or people talking about her and this, and the other. So I was really depressed behind this. I already deal with depression, and then when I got that blow, it made it even worse. I honestly can't even tell you who I was at that time. I just felt like I was living in a fairy tale, or a twilight. Nothing seemed real. And I just kept replaying it over and over and over in my mind. The phone call, seeing her in a casket, planning the funeral. I just kept replaying everything in my mind, and it just won't go anywhere. I still replay it, but it's not as bad as what it was. So that was 2020. 2021, 1 week before my mom was found deceased, my little cousin accidentally blew his head off. Same month, August, on August 24th. He was playing with a gun. Well, he was making a video for YouTube. He took all the bullets out the gun and forgot the one in the chamber. And so he was playing, doing the video, and the gun went off and blew his brains out. So that was 2021. And I'm like, I'm still dealing with this from my mom. I could not take it because I had a real big part in raising him. But I couldn't take it. I could not see that baby like that. And I just was not going to funerals at that time because I was literally on the nerve. I'm sorry, literally on the urge of having a nervous breakdown. And my doctor advised against me not going due to that reason. So 2022 comes around. I'm trying to heal, still trying to heal. My aunt, my mom's baby sister, just passed. Me and her had a really close relationship. She just passed on my birthday, May 24th. And that was hard because I did not expect it, for one. For two, it was my birthday, and how can you be happy that you made it another year and be sad because your auntie won't get another year? So that was really hard to juggle. And then my son and husband and best friend were giving me a 50th birthday party. You know, it's a milestone. And so they wanted to do something really special for me. But when that happened, I did not want to go forth with the party and everything, but everything, the vendor and everything had been paid for already. So I wasn't going to waste their money. I did go, but I couldn't drink or anything. My stomach was upset and rumbling. I think it was from my nerves being so bad. Like I barely drank anything. I did do a little partying. I did do a little dancing, but other than that, and it was catered. So I did. I ate a little tiny bit, but not much. I just couldn't stomach anything, and that's basically how my last 2 years have been. I've been dealing with tragedy, mental health issues, and basically just trying to heal from all this death. My grandmother used to tell me death come in threes. Well, she never lied. That's three right together. Bam, bam, bam. So I just wanted to be transparent and let you guys know where I've been. I'm back now. We will be doing the channel a little bit different. From now on, I will be doing more live videos. I want to interact with you guys. I want to get your opinion on things. I want you to tell me what it is that you want to know about, any diseases that you are facing or your family member is facing that you need more education on. I want to do those things for you, as well as get your opinion on certain topics. So my question today is, how many of you have gone through your family or your loved one's death and not remember what transpired verbatim? Because I couldn't remember like that time in my life. I remember the funeral and everything, but like things that were happening and things that I went through and everything, I don't remember. It just like I went in a trance or something. Like I said, it felt like I was in a twilight. So I want to know how many people have felt like that. How many people take death hard. And also, did you get depressed behind your loved one passing. Those are the 3 questions. Drop a answer in my inbox, or you can email me at ministerfit9@gmail.com. Your opinions and your comments are always welcome, and I will try to answer them, and I want to be more intertwined with answering your questions and being there for you and being that mediator and person that you need, being an advocate for you. And that's it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in with me once again. This has been your girl Imani. Come back for my next video, and I'll see you then.